Hello, Dr.
Sophia.
Sophia.
Hi, how may I help you, Maria?
After so many years, we are now parents. I have heard that women who have late pregnancies are more likely to give birth to a child who has Down syndrome. We therefore consider seeking medical advice before continuing.
Everything you have heard is entirely true. There are some situations in which such a condition may manifest.
So, could you please explain what Down syndrome really is in detail and how we might overcome it if we were expecting a baby?
Don't worry, let me tell you all there is to know about the Down syndrome, including the available diagnostic tests and the preventative methods.
Thank you, doctor.
Down syndrome is a genetic disorder caused when abnormal cell division results in extra genetic material from the chromosome 21. A medical term for having an extra copy of a chromosome is trisomy. This extra copy changes how the baby's body and the brain develop, which can cause both mental and the physical challenges for the baby. Even though people with Down syndrome might act and look similar, each person has different abilities. Many of the disabilities are lifelong and they can also shorten life expectancy. However, the people with Down syndrome can live healthily to fulfilling lives. The people with Down syndrome usually have IQ in the mildly to moderately low range and they are slower to speak than other children. Children and adults with Down syndrome have distinct facial features. Though not all the people with Down syndrome has the same features, some of the more common features include a flattened face, especially the bridge nose, almond-shaped eyes that slant up, a short neck, small ears, a tongue that tends to stick out of the mouth, tiny white spots on the iris of the eye, small hands and feet. A single line across the palm of the hand, also called palmar crease. Small pinky fingers that sometimes curve toward the thumb. Poor muscle tone or loose joints, shorter in height as children or adults. There are three types of Down syndrome. Trisomy 21. About 95% of the people with Down syndrome have trisomy 21. This is by far the most common type, where every cell in the body has three copies of chromosome 21 instead of the usual two. Translocation Down syndrome. This type accounts for only 3% of the people with Down syndrome. Each cell has part of an extra chromosome 21 or an entirely extra one, but it's attached to another chromosome instead of being on its own. Mosaic Down syndrome. This is the rarest type and affects only about 2% of people with Down syndrome, where only some cells have an extra chromosome 21. Children with mosaic Down syndrome may have the same features as other children with Down syndrome.
Could you please tell us which factor increase a woman's risk of giving birth to a babies with the Down syndrome and also about the available diagnosis test?
Sure, Maria. Dr. Joe will explain to you about those factors in detail.
Okay, Dr. Sophia, I will explain those to them. One of the factors that increases the risk of having a baby with Down syndrome is the mother's age. Women who are 35 years or older when they become pregnant are more likely to have a pregnancy affected by Down syndrome than women who become pregnant at younger age. However, the majority of babies with Down syndrome are born to mother less than 35 years old because there are many more births among younger women. Talking about diagnosis, there are two basic types of tests available to detect Down syndrome during pregnancy: screening test and diagnostic test. A screening test can tell a woman and her healthcare provider whether her pregnancy has a lower or higher chances of having Down syndrome. Screening tests do not provide an absolute diagnosis, but they are safer for the mother and the developing baby. Diagnostic tests can typically detect whether or not a baby will have Down syndrome, but they can be riskier for the mother and developing baby. Neither screening nor diagnostic test can predict the full impact of Down syndrome on a baby. No one can predict this. Screening tests often include a combination of blood tests, which measure the amount of various substances in the mother's blood. Example: MSFP, triple screen, quad screen, and an ultrasound, which creates a picture of the baby. During an ultrasound, one of the things the technician looks at is the fluids behind the baby's neck. Extra fluid in this region could indicate a genetic problem. This screening test can help determining the baby risk early. Screening tests can give an abnormal result even when there is nothing wrong with the baby. Sometimes the test results are normal and yet they miss a problem that does exist. Diagnostic tests are usually performed after a positive screening test in order to confirm a Down syndrome diagnosis. Types of diagnostic tests include chorionic villus sampling, which examines material from the placenta. Amniocentesis is a test which examines the amniotic fluid of mother. Percutaneous umbilical blood sampling examines blood from the umbilical cord. Karyotyping and prenatal screening. These tests look for changes in the chromosome that will indicate a Down syndrome diagnosis.
Can you tell me what are the other health problems associated with the Down syndrome?
I think this will be explained better by my residents, Dr. Alice.
Sure, Dr. Joe, I will explain to them. Many people with Down syndrome have common facial features and no other major birth defects. However, some people with Down syndrome might have one or more major birth defects or other medical problems. Some of the more common health problems among children with Down syndromes are hearing loss, obstructive sleep apnea, which is a condition where the person's breathing temporarily stops while asleep, ear infections, eye disease, heart defects present at birth. Healthcare providers routinely monitor children with Down syndrome for these conditions.
What are the measures we can do in order to improve their abilities?
Down syndrome is a lifelong condition, however, services early in life will often help babies and children with Down syndrome to improve their physical and intellectual abilities. Most of these services focus on helping children with Down syndrome develop to their full potential. These services include speech, occupational, and physical therapy, and they are typically offered through early intervention program in each state. Children with Down syndrome may also need extra help or attention in school, although many children are included in regular classes.
What step can we do right now to have a healthy child?
Don't worry, Maria. By planning ahead for pregnancy and consuming at least 400 mcg of folic rich food daily, we may also lower the chance of Down syndrome. Keeping a healthy weight, abstaining from tobacco, alcohol, following a healthy diet and lifestyle, and taking care to avoid infections all help you stay healthy.
Thank you, doctors, for making me aware about the issue relating to the Down syndrome and providing me with all the informations.
Thank you, doctor.
Let's now
How
discuss.
common is Down syndrome among people? According to the article entitled World Down Syndrome Day, published by United States of America in their official website, the estimated incidence of Down syndrome is about 1,000 births worldwide. There are about 1,500 births per hour in our world. The article entitled World Down Syndrome Day 2018, published by Department of Foreign Affairs in Philippines, Ambassador Almujala, underlined that promoting the welfare of the people with Down syndrome is important for the Philippines, where it is estimated that 1 in 800 babies, or about 1,875 babies, are born with this condition every year. It is estimated by World Health Organization every year between 23,000 to 29,000 children are born in India with Down syndrome, which is the highest in the world. Chromosome disorder occurs in approximately 1 out of 166 births in India, with 1 out of every 830 children being born with Down syndrome. Down syndrome remains the most common chromosomal condition diagnosed in United States of America. Each year, about 6,000 babies born in United States have Down syndrome. This means that Down syndrome occurs in about 1 in every 700 babies.